Hello, this is Paul with Logix Trainers. Let me ask you a question. Do you want a promotion? I can help you get one. And I'm not talking about some small stuff. I'm talking about not talking about going from stacking boxes at the end of the line to being a supervisor of people stacking boxes at the end of the line. I'm talking about being able to travel the world, work on cutting edge technology, leading multi-million dollar projects for billion dollar companies, and earning a six-figure income. On top of that, truthfully building a purposeful and adventurous life. Isn't that what we're really all after? I can help you do all that and more. But here's the truth. I got to get this out there. And if this doesn't fit you, I recommend you listen to another podcast. The truth is that it's not going to necessarily be simple. And it's not necessarily going to be easy. And there's not necessarily going to be a perfectly straight line. But I can guarantee you an outcome. That is for sure. What I can tell you is this. If you do the work, the rewards will be beyond what you believe is possible. And you don't have to walk this path alone. That's really critical. But before I get into a lot of the details, let me share this story with you. I think it's really important to get some perspective on your ambition, right? So we're going to talk about traveling the world today, okay? Last year, so this is 2025, September, just had my birthday the other day. Last year, I was able to do some world traveling. I've done lots and lots of traveling, but I'm going to talk about this one experience in particular. And I got to go on this trip because I knew how to wire, machine, and program a PLC. That's why I was invited. And I was invited to a board meeting in Tokyo, Japan, with a $220 million a year company. It's a big, beautiful boardroom, right? Just like you would imagine. You walk in, there's this big room, big table. There's probably 8, 10 chairs on each side. And I think there was 3 or 4 on the ends, the narrow ends. And in Japan, very common. They ask, if you want water or tea or, so they're very, very cordial. So they're very professional. Everyone there's in suits and ties and, we're looking very sharp and dapper ourselves. We were there to discuss, some business strategy, performance of the last year, performance for the upcoming year. But what followed after that meeting was an experience most people only dream about. So we had this board meeting, I think it was like 9 in the morning. Then we were going to have several meetings with other department heads, engineering, marketing, sales, international sales department. I had a little one-on-one meeting to learn more about how portional valves are they're built, right? And I got so into it. I was asking questions, and they pushed back and said politely. Japanese are generally very, very polite. Well, some of that's a little proprietary. So when you ask questions, and that's the kind of pushback you get, gently, you're going deep, and that's important to me. Okay, I'm going to take as much as I can, as much as you're willing to give me. I'm going to go ahead and take. So for me, it was cool. It's a great opportunity to sit down with the people who build these devices and ask in-depth questions. Following that, we let's see, what do we do? We went and did some sightseeing around Tokyo. So we had lunch with the managers, and then we went sightseeing in Tokyo, right? So we went with the international sales department head and the engineering department's managers. And they took us to this beautiful shrine. So it's this very long walkway, and then there's this beautiful shrine, and you walk in. There's all these kinds of old traditional Japanese buildings, and these stairs you have to climb way the heck up and get this beautiful view. I mean, just utterly, just remarkable, beautiful, beautiful experience, right? And then we left the shrine. Then we ended up going to a bamboo forest. where we had green tea in a traditional like shelter. So basically, you go to this space, this place, this forest, and you walk in and you get to walk through this forest, and it had this strong green, obviously you're in a bamboo forest, and the bamboo, when it's not dead, is very green, right? um, uh, Most of us, if you know what bamboo, once it's died, it turns into like a tan, right? Tan kind of color. So while it's alive, it's very green, and it's a beautiful forest. Just the whole forest is bamboo, and they had these lights set up like your walkway lights, and they had them staged in very neat little spaces, and they had this path, and they had these little um, statues along the way with little prayer statues and little caricature statues. And so this is a really beautiful space, and we go and you end up winding your way through this bamboo garden, bamboo forest slash garden, and you go to this tea house. And I say tea house so to give you an idea, it had this counter, and then it had it was like a shelter at a park, but it had this like little closed in section for the kitchen, right? And so you go up and you order some tea, and you sit down, you look out into the bamboo forest. The lighting was just beautiful. The set of the day, where the sun was, just stunning. I got some pictures. I'll share it at some point. Beautiful space to be able to sit down and contemplate. Now, me personally, I didn't care so much for the tea, but I could go on in depth on tea through Southeast Asia. But this tea, it was okay, but it was definitely very, very greeny type of tea. Anyhow, it was really a beautiful space. And then we left there, and then what we had is scheduled. So we went back to the manufacturing facility, and we had met with some other people. But we had an evening dinner scheduled, and the evening was being hosted at an exclusive Japanese ryote. I believe that I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's where women wear. It's a very traditional type of building, low one level, and you go walk in, and it's like this courtyard. They have a little walk bridge. They have the fish, and they have the lighting just right, and they have different flowers and different stones. And so this is beautiful, beautiful place. And you walk in, there's this great big foyer, and you take off your coats, and they have this waterfall and this small waterfall and this water feature right inside this building. And then they take you into a room we're gonna have dinner. So we go into this room, and it's a nice table. It's not nowhere near as big as the boardroom table, but it's a nice table. And so we had the executives from the earlier meeting. We had the managers, and we had there was a team, I think, of three of us that sat and had this meal. Well, I'm very lucky. I've been able to go through have this experience twice, two separate occasions, a year apart. Anyhow. So they have beautiful Japanese string music, and then they would bring out drinks and tea, and if you wanted a beer. So they had the drinks, and we started out with that. And basically, I don't remember. I started putting some pictures together, and I thought there was 12, but there may have been like 15 courses to this meal. I'll actually have to sit down or talk to one of the other attendees with me and ask them if they can recall. I have many, many pictures, but I actually missed it. Can't find some of the pictures of some of the plates that they brought, but each plate had this, it was a ceramic type of plate, and they had ceramic boxes and ornamental plating, and the food was in these little ceramic boxes and ceramic bowls, and so each one had a very unique presentation. They had a very unique food item with that plate. And so you would finish that one, and you'd have some drink, and then they would take that plate away, and they'd bring a new plate in, and this went on for like I got over 15 pictures, 14, 15 pictures, different plates. So I don't really remember how many plates it was, but it was a lot. I mentioned other people it was 12, but I looked at pictures, and there's like 15, and I know I missed one or two. So. This is very cool. Now, the room had this really nice bamboo style wall, But halfway down from the floor to about halfway up was all glass. And you could look out into like this garden that had these lights staged. Now, mind you, it's dark already. And so when you look out, down and out, you would see these lights and you see these pretty flowers and whatnot. So it was a really beautiful, beautiful space. And then the servers were women in these traditional kimonos, wooden clogs, for lack of what the right term is. And so they would come and get you your food and very, very happy and smiling. They had the face paint and whatnot. So very, very cool, very unique. And, basically every detail was breathtaking. They never let your drink go empty. They were excruciatingly pleasant. They would do anything in the world to make you happy, right? And the food, the atmosphere, the wine, the drinks, the company, it was truly unforgettable. It was just a remarkable experience. And I say all this to share with you that it all happened because of basically one thing. I had skills. I could wire machines. I could program PLCs. And I'm telling you this because I want you to see the possibilities, right? I'm not special. I'm not better than you. I wasn't luckier. I simply took the time to learn the skills that opened doors. And here's the thing. You can do the same. There's nothing stopping you, nothing holding back. I would recommend if that is something that excites you, the possibility of traveling the world, the possibility of going to and these historic cities you've only read about in school. They see these pictures. I was in a coffee shop yesterday. We were buying my beloved coffee. We buy the beans. We grind it up at home. This is grog coffee. If you know what it is, you'll know where I'm going with this. This is a beautiful bourbon infused bean. It was just awesome. Now, my wife's going up there. She's ordering it, and I'm looking so in this coffee shop, they have this wall, and they have all these books, and you can look at them and read them and whatnot while you're having your crumpet or your whatever, your tea, your coffee that they have. And so I pulled out a book, and it was I think it was a Europe book. Cover was missing, but there was a lot of pages there. So open up, and I'm like, yes, I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. Rome, Venice, Spain, South America. I mean, I don't remember where. I think it was just one was just Europe. So Amsterdam and England. So I looked at here and I've been to a heck of a lot of these places as an automation controls engineer. A lot of these, almost all this training, now traveling. Now, some of this came when I was in the Marines, but a lot of this came while doing automation and controls. It was exciting to open up that book and look at that. Say, yeah, I've been there, I've been there. Oh, there's a neat little shop right around the corner from this sightseeing spot here. So it's a really great experience to be able to have that, to see that, to experience that. And you know that nobody else around you likely, very, very, very few people ever travel outside of their city or state, let alone the country, and let alone, halfway around the world. So most people never ever do that. So you would be in a very unique and small club. Even though you'll run into people who've traveled, the vast majority of people you meet will never have traveled to that extent. So it gives you a really adventurous career. Not only do you have the opportunity to travel, not only do you have the opportunity to go to places you've only read about, to meet new people from different cultures, to experience the world in a way that is really unique. I've been to some places that my travels would be unlike anybody else's in the world. Will have never have traveled the places I did the way that I did. So in China, I spent a month there, right? A moped, bullet train, planes, ferries, boats, bicycles. We've done it all. So very few people in the world have ever experienced that. All because I learned how to wire machines and program PLCs. And it really is what opened up the door. Those skills are what opened up the door. So when I say, hey, you want to travel the world, I'm not joking. I'm not playing around. It is real. And I can help point you in the right direction. How to learn the right skills, how to develop the right portfolio, and how to build a network of people around the world that will feed you an endless supply of high 5, 6 figure opportunities. And what's really cool, I'm sitting there thinking, I was walking through an airport, I forget where I was, Japan or Vietnam, and this very attractive young lady, I mean, she's maybe less than a third of my, maybe half my age or less. And she teaches English in Vietnam. And she had worked in China for a while. She teaches English in Vietnam. I'm watching a video on YouTube. There's a beautiful young lady in China teaching different classes. And I'm telling you, I've been over there doing controls and electrical work. And so my point being, there's a ton of opportunity in this world to travel. The thing about this skill set is once you have it, you can't take it. It's not a license per se. It's skill that nobody can take away from you, and can fit a lot of different places, fit a lot of different ways for a lot of different places. And that's the part I want to share with you. I'm picking this story and I'm picking this message because I want to inspire you. It's not just about learning how to get a skill so you can get a job and maybe make 5, 6 figures, right? Think bigger than that. Think big. The world is your oyster. You can go so many places and do so many things in this world. I know people who run their own companies, people who travel, people who only do contract work and do travel around the world. People spend months overseas. I've done that, and I'm going to be sharing these stories with you through this Logix podcast. We're going to put it out once a week. I'm going to share my experiences, my stories with you. I'm going to try and help you and inspire you to think bigger. Think big. The opportunities are out there, and I'd love to be able to help you. Go to logixtrainers.com. That's Logix, Logix trainers, trainers.com. Sign up for the email. I'm a little haphazard, but we're working as a team to fine tune getting that email on a regular basis. But we're just getting started. We're just getting, I should say, restarted. And you'll learn more about my story and the chaotic twists and turns. And if anything, they always say, hey, you want to attract people, tell your story. Well, I got a story of my career that's going to blow your freaking socks off. Stick with me every week. I'm going to share bits and pieces of this, my incredible story with you, and show you how you can live a prosperous, a purposeful, and adventurous life and career. All right, so this is Paul with Logix Trainers. I invite you to go to logixtrainers.com, take a click on our workshops, take some of our demos for a try, take our demos out for a spin, give us your feedback. We're excited to hear what you have to say, and tell us what you think, and we'll go from there, all right? So until next week, this is Paul with Logix Trainers. Cheers.